One.
Great. I'm Jay, and this is Krista. This is Pod of Flowers.
Flowers.
Recorded live at Hall of Flowers, show number 2, Toronto, September 2023. And we are with?
Alexei Chinkarenko.
Great. From?
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. It's okay.
From Purileaf
There you go.
Brands Corporation. Yes.
Great. And is this your first show?
It is our first show.
Great.
We've been very, very careful and selective about what shows we choose to attend because a lot of them are, to be frank, for LPs, a total colossal waste of time.
Okay. That's okay. And what pushed you to choose this one?
Budtender attendance and the fact that we're experiencing tremendous growth and there's a lot of traction on our SKUs, so
Nice.
we kind of want to get the messaging out there even more and increase distribution and forge those relationships.
Okay, I have deep in the weeds questions.
Sure.
That was weird. When you were thinking about picking a show, like outside of it being this show, what's the conversation internally about making a decision about like where you show up? Because I think you and I'm sure everybody else that's here are experiencing the same things. It's a really tight market right now. You have to be very selective on how you show up. So what are some of the things that helped you make a decision on where you show up or how you show up? And
really one big factor, and that is who's going to be attending.
okay.
A lot of the shows, they have companies peripheral to the cannabis industry, guys selling fertilizer and different types of equipment. We've got all of that covered.
Right.
So we're not there to buy. We're there to showcase our messaging and ensure that stores that we want to be in are aware of what we do. And again, to solidify those relationships. So the fact that this is primarily budtenders going around and seeking different products for different types of uses, that's certainly what we're interested in. And that's why we selected this one specifically as our first one.
And what are the SKUs that are most compelling when the folks who are here are seeing them, hearing about them, or actually in store?
Well, the conversation always starts, our booth is just over there, it starts with Night Night. So Night Night has become a household name when it comes to THC-free products that are conducive to nighttime use. We were first to market as Purileaf on the manufacture of CBN isolates of the highest level of purity, 99 plus, and that was 2.5 years ago. So we developed that brand around the particular need state, and that's how we approach brands generally.
Right.
What is the need state that you're trying to address, and what is the formulation that's going to optimally get you there? And Night Night was the first example of that. So we're everywhere, and people know about us, and it's just about growth from here on in, adding different product formats and different SKUs.
You have a really interesting product and the way that the regulations are here, like you can't ignore it. It's so difficult sometimes to talk about need state of the customer and dance this very fine line around like, what are we actually trying to solve for? And I guess when you're thinking about your sales teams and how they interact or the groups that are going into the stores and dealing with budtenders and dealing with people making purchasing decisions.
Right.
How do you like dance that line, I guess, without giving away your trade secrets?
Sure,
But like,
it's not a trade secret. Yeah.
it's like
It's a great name, too. Night Night is good.
Yeah, I was like,
Night Night
dance
is
that
really-
line? I was like, are we
That's
joking?
right on. No, I don't think so. I think it's like,
Yeah.
Night Night is good.
That's the first answer, right? There's two answers. That's the first answer. Get a brand name that resonates with the consumer, where the consumer immediately associates with a particular use. Right? There's ways of saying sleep without saying sleep. So the branding, the messaging should actually highlight that. And the next thing is, sit down, brainstorm for however long you need on the types of phrases that you can use to communicate the messaging. So things like conducive to nighttime use would work. So the only thing, you can't make medical claims, you can't say it's effective
Can't say
for
sleep.
something.
Right.
Right. But you can say this is meant to be used at night. And a lot of other brands, including some of our wholesale clients, have used similar types of messaging. So so far so good in terms of all things regulatory.
That's good. Night Night. I often say when I'm buying products in stores, like when people are like, what is CBN? I'm like, the N is for nighttime. Like the N is for nighttime.
Yes.
And look at CBG. I was like, G is for good time. Good night. Good time. I think I said good. I think so.
And we have the Night Night's daytime brother called Day Day, which is CBG focused.
Yeah.
So we have CBN focused, we have CBG focused, and we frame brands around cannabinoids. So because each of them, again, identifies a particular need state and satisfies it to a certain degree.
And does it take, I mean, we're years into legalization here in Canada, like are consumers now catching up to where like industry people were talking 3 or 4 years ago on sort of minor cannabinoids, like our our consumers now saying, I actually am looking specifically for CBN for nighttime use. Like, are you seeing sort of trends where consumers actually know some of the things that were like not well known before?
Right. Well, you've just highlighted my optimism when it comes to the next 6 months to a year. There's a lot of negativity that's going to be happening, a lot of CCAA proceedings, bankruptcies, a lot of guys going under, investor fatigue, all of that. But then on the flip side, and this is relevant to our company specifically as a leader in minor cannabinoids, people are becoming more educated about things other than THC and CBD.
Yeah.
So if they're looking for particular effects, again, using what you addressed before, which is be very, very careful with your language, develop the messaging properly, you can actually find a solution to most people's issues, and take them away from all the other crappy stuff that they're consuming at, in the pharma market, as an example. Yeah. So education is rolling out. A lot of LPs are taking charge on this. We're one of them. Very happy to see the consumer is becoming more educated, because ultimately in a mature market, people will know about the main cannabinoids for sure, and they'll be going to those cannabinoids to address their specific needs.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is I was just thinking about the way that people shop other products. I don't know if you have a periphery industry that you like to compare cannabis to, or like the industry, but I do, and I want to know your opinion on it based off of what you just said.
Right.
But it's like, I really believe that there are lines that match up with beauty and beauty transactions, and cannabis, it's like such a personal product. It goes both ways. There's a lot of factors that make a decision, and how somebody interacts with a product can be really impacted with the formulation.
Right.
And so I think that there is complexity that exists within beauty that we're in cannabis starting to figure out, like, how do we communicate it and how do we make it easy for the customer to understand, which has always been something that the beauty industry has struggled with.
Yes.
Thoughts? Are you lying? Can you sing it with me?
No, I'll sing it with you. I just, to be honest, I don't have much experience with anything in the beauty industry. The only parallel that I can really draw is the general nutraceutical industry.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's kind of been our focus. We are a full portfolio of wellness-based products. Again, each of those cannabinoids offers a particular benefit with tremendous therapeutic potential. We try to get after those. I mentioned CBN, CBG. Obviously, THC and CBD are afterthoughts. They've commoditized, and they're highly competitive. We have a value brand under CBD called Frank CBD, just to allow consumers to access that commodity for a very, very reasonable, affordable price. But then we're always looking further to other cannabinoids. So next for us is CBC, cannabichromene, and THCV.
Okay.
So those are, our production team is working very hard to get at those cannabinoids in either high purity distillate or isolate form. But again, to your point, it's you got to figure out the formula. You got to figure out what you want to do. You got to develop the formulation, and then you figure out how to do it using your core capabilities. So if you take that approach, so far it's been successful for us, then you can thrive. Whereas a lot of LPs may be suffering. So
yeah.
What's one thing that you want to learn today?
Today?
Yeah.
One thing I want to learn today. Very good question.
How awesome this podcast is.
Right.
Yeah, I already know that.
Right, that's true.
I want to go around and see what other, so I mentioned our wholesale division. We have a broad base of very reputable, large LP clients to whom we sell extracts, and they're doing very, very innovative things. So I want to go and delve further into it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't keep on innovating, you're just gonna stale out and then die.
Right.
So
there's a plateau and then slow
that's exactly what happens. So you have to keep on churning.
Yeah.
And this is a really interesting place to have your pulse on the industry.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. It's interesting because we just talked to someone who was at this show, but also in California, and not so much on the product innovation side, but more on the how brands are representing themselves side, like on the branding side. And it is such a good way to like get a big chunk of what's happening out there in a 2-day period and take those learnings back to your day job.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times myself. Yeah. Go down to California. You want to see where innovation's happening and proper branding's happening? It's in California.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're like...
It's in San Fran, it's in LA. Vegas showcases it during MJCon, for example.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll...
Such a pleasure.
Good luck today and tomorrow.
Everybody is capable. luck.
I know that, but it's nice to have luck too. Luck doesn't hurt anybody. But thank you for making time. We look forward to seeing the booth, connecting with you. Have a good show.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.